at the moment, that means that INEC is not considering doing anything in terms of removing her from that position as a result of this concern that the PDP has raised.
Removing her from preparing the facility as the chairman of a committee to prepare the facility? That's not an issue. It's a needless controversy. That's not an issue at all. The fact that when you establish a studio in Abuja, you send a committee for you to prepare the place ready for your occupation. That doesn't mean the person is in charge of the studio. Is in charge of preparing the facility, will not be in charge of all the broadcasts, all the things that are said in that studio. Basically, that's a simple comparison I can draw from it.
All right, so
it's not the only member of that committee. She's just one out of about 13 of us. I am a member.
So still talking about the process, part of the issues that some of the CSOs and CBOs also raised is that they'd like to see INEC allow them into the situation room so that in further demonstration of the transparency of the process. Is INEC considering this?
I'm not too sure that is under consideration because also there are certain things that have to be done. International observers, domestic observers who are accredited, for example, will part of the collation center. They will have access to the collation center. But there are certain things that must remain confidential. I, for example, don't attend meetings of the commission. People should be free to express their views. There's certain things must be done in confidentiality. When the cabinet at that state or whatever level meets, they do so confidentially, and then they tell the public what decisions they have reached. You should allow for free, robust discussions based on beliefs and perceptions and what they know. So I don't think that will be an issue for now. I'm not aware that is being considered. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay,
other processes.
Yeah.
Leading from it's like opening, say, tell us where you're printing your sensitive materials, your ballot papers, resources. No, there's certain things that must remain confidential. But they're allowed to see the movement to the vault of the central bank, from central bank to our offices, from the offices to the polling units. All that is open to all accredited observers, all accredited media.
One more thing,
yes.
The role or INEC's role in how security is deployed for these elections. They've also raised concerns about that. Is there any new initiative or new measures that INEC is going to take about that, where the security can be, how they can be deployed?
For me to answer that, you have to tell me what are those concerns raised?
In terms of seeing policemen or security persons directly either in the situation room, near the ballot box, or near the voting centers, not maintaining that distance?
First of all, security personnel are not in our situation room. It is limited to only relevant INEC staff. They may offer protection in the perimeters of the wherever I was in the user situation room, but they are not inside the situation room. Let me use that. But the role of the security, quite honestly, the 2015 amendment placed the deployment of security in the hands of the INEC chairman on election before electoral duties. But you know, there's this interagency committee between INEC, and that will meet next week again, for example. What's out the deployment of security personnel? So yes, we do have a say in how they are deployed, and certainly will maintain that they will not be directly involved in the process. Their role is limited, and we press this on them. It's limited to keeping security, the constitutional and legal rules to keep security, to ensure that security is maintained in and around the perimeters of the voting point, and to ensure that there is some sense of security when people come out to vote. The challenge is balancing between whether they are coming in large numbers so that people are scared to come out, or whether they are intimidating people. They must at all times remain professional. That has been impressed upon them at all times.
All right, because I do remember some of the concerns the last time during Osun elections was preventing people from going to vote. But now you say all that is sorted. We appreciate your talking to us this morning. Thank you. So, Mr. Fegba, you heard INEC official there saying at the moment, no consideration removing Amina Zakari from her position because, look, it has no bearing whatsoever on the role of the returning officer or the outcome of the results. So at the moment, nothing to worry about. Are you satisfied with their response to that?
Well, that is okay. Such clarification is very good. That is not to say that we are going to go back home and sleep. We are still going to keep our eyes on INEC, on every processes, on every step they take, so that in the final analysis, there will be a semblance of free, fair, and credible elections in the entire process of election. I was going to ask Uzi, if you had given me the opportunity, why are they doing a test run of creating 30,000 voting polling settlements in FCT and not considering other states of the Federation? And why must they do it in FCT and not every other state when elections are just 40 days from now? And why they are also under pressure not to display from E60 at the polling units, at the ward level, at the local government level, at the state level, before sending it to the federal level. But I didn't have the opportunity to ask him those questions. But these are issues that are agitating the minds of some of us as we prepare for the 2019 elections in February.
Yesterday, we spoke to Dr. Lekki, INEC Commissioner in charge of Cross River, Delta, and Akwa Ibom states, and he did say there's no such thing as coming up with 30,000 polling units. He also did tell us that, yes, it's in their guideline that they've got to create those voting point settlements in Abuja because INEC has direct control of what can happen in the FCT, and that's why those who have nowhere to go vote, they need to go vote there. But we didn't get to the point of from E60 or to any other pressure, so we don't have information about all of that.
But that is also a problem. That is also a problem if you are doing the FCT, because people registered in certain locations, and on voting day they are expected to go and vote in those locations. How do you separate them or create or know the exact people who are going to be voting in those new settlements? And how do you now separate them? You are going to create a total confusion in the entire process. And if you feel that you can do it in FCT, why not do it in other states? We are aware that there's no time, fine. If you know there's no time, why do you have to do it at all? Because at the FCT, you are also going to be creating another confusion on that day, because if I know that I register in Wuse polling unit 2, and on that day, because there's no movement, I'm supposed to go and vote in Wuse polling unit 2, I'll be disenfranchised if I'm getting there. They say my name is no longer there. You'll be shifted to voting.
I believe that political parties
located outside the domain.
I believe parties have consultations and meetings and forums with INEC. So who knows, if we don't have that opportunity to bring you and then get OC to respond to you, perhaps you may just have opportunity to raise it in that meeting. But we'll see what can happen about that. But Mr. Lee, I'm not sure you have concerns or questions for Uzi because he's since gone. So at this point, gentlemen, I want to thank you both for coming on the program this morning. Aliyu Abdullahi, Deputy Director, Media and Strategic Communication, Buhari Presidential Campaign Council, and Mr. Kazim Afegwa, Spokesperson, PDP Presidential Campaign Council, and former Commissioner for Information at Edo State. Thank you both for being on the program today. We will be back in a moment. Stay with us.